My next question is this thing called the Chinese tsunami. It seems there's such thing. What do you think, YB?
Because I think, like just out the 10, highest majority seat that I listed out, many of them we have a higher percentage of Chinese population. That's why the easiest way is to say that that is a Chinese tsunami. In fact, I mean the same type of voting pattern happened in even in 2008 or some of them even before. So it is in a way it's unfair. Because if that is Chinese tsunami, Selangor wouldn't get 59.3% popular votes. So the population in the demographic in Selangor is 53% Malays, Chinese 28%, Indian 16%. So if the Malay votes don't come in, we wouldn't enjoy 59.3% popular votes for Pakatan Rakyat in Selangor, and we wouldn't have captured 2/3 majority in the State Assembly of Selangor.
Fui, you want to add something on that?
We were looking at, there was actually in fact a 22% swing away from the Barisan amongst the Chinese electorates. Now that's quite significant compared to about 4% of the Malay votes and 3% amongst the Indians. So I would say, just to cut, because we have a very short session, I would say it's a Chinese tsunami but a Malay flash flood, because there's absolutely no way that again Selangor would BN could have recaptured Selangor without the Chinese votes. By the same token, and also without the Malay younger voters, there's no way they could have gotten the 2/3. As I would, I did this. I concur with YB. The only thing is that the magnitude of that swing certainly came, of course, this time around from the Chinese, because I think at the end of the day, you're just looking at the 13% support from the Chinese community, which is 13% for the BN, which I would say, conversely is 90%, 85 to 90% for the opposition, which is very, very significant. I mean, that is really without a doubt. You're talking about, that's not even a rural urban divide, that's everybody from 21-year-old to 80-year-old Chinese were all voting for the opposition. So it is a very, very resounding protest, either a protest or a support for the opposition. Certainly it was very much expressed in a very strong manner in the 13 general elections, more so than any other elections.
Now I cannot rebut her already.
You can.
I think yeah. I mean, there are two things. One is looking at the statistics. Yes, we can look at the numbers, and we can accept, okay, majority of the Chinese didn't vote for BN. But I always say this time, because this is not going to be permanent, the Chinese voted for BN in 1999. We had problem with Malay votes in 1999. We had problem with Indian votes in 2008. So, yes, the statistic is showing that way. But another thing is, don't blame the Chinese. In fact, we should understand the reason behind it. And to the best of my knowledge, they are not voting for opposition because they are Chinese.
Correct.
Because the issues that they are thinking are the same issues that my Temulo Malay folks are thinking in the kampung. Issues of fairness, issues of corruption, issues of, the forces,
Free and fair election.
It is an issue that transcends, it transcends race and ethnic. So I think for BN, I think the challenge is how do we address the issue? How do we outreach and talk to the Chinese electorates?
Daryl, maybe you can share your experience, because I think your seat has a significant number of Chinese, isn't it? Because it's quite How is their the Chinese response in Sabah, is it different than the one in Peninsula? Or
first, I agree with Dato' and Teresa and Fui. It's not about Chinese. It's about people who are informed, making decisions now. So when they voted, they did not vote on racial lines. They voted on an informed line. Now, in my place in Penampang, when you say Chinese, also it's not right, because there's Sino-Chinese like us. I'm half Chinese, okay, like you. Philip.
But I want to dispute that informed or not an informed decision. I think a lot of it, if at all, this 13GA is going to be remembered for is the amount of emotion that has actually gone into it as well. The way the social media has actually a large part to play with it. People don't vote with their heads; they actually vote with their hearts. You know, they are very much moved by that. They vote with their hearts.
I think of course
The significant amount of anger that was actually stirred up in this, I tell you, it is amazing. I mean, so much so that, like you say, you know, the minute you can have a SMS that goes out and say 40,000 Bangla coming out, and everybody was so angry enough to go out there. That is anger. It is not rational. Okay.
Sorry, just to top up, sorry.
Yeah.
I think these are all those things that I added. She mentioned emotion. Yes, emotion comes into play, but they are informed already. So they're just expressing whatever is in their minds and in their hearts. Now, I think they did not vote only with one heart or the mind, but they voted with both. They somehow collided the two and made a decision, whether BN or the opposition.
You see, the challenge for BN, I think, in GE13 is this. We did not manage to rebut some of the issues and some of the core complaints, and because of that, there is some kind of accumulated thoughts among the middle ground. I think we are looking at the same number, about 30% of the electorate, So you see, in elections prior to 2000, say before 2008, without the ICT and the new media, the on-the-fence voters or the middle ground, whatever you call it, about 30% this time, about 4 million in total, they went to the ballot box without knowing each other. But this time they went to the ballot box with some kind of accumulated thoughts because they were sharing already. They were twittering, they were on Facebook, Yes, of course there was some emotion, but
There's a lot of emotion, I would say also.
But I would say even if it is emotion, I think I would appreciate the reason behind.
I do appreciate the reason behind because there are a lot of accumulated anger. I think over decades, really over many issues. I mean, whether it's corruption, whether it's unfairness. The word, the whole issue of unfairness and free and fair election. A lot of it also is driven by emotion, and this is why these emotions are valid. I'm not saying they're not valid, but people do. But people do vote with their hearts.
Okay.
Because I voted on that particular day at Teluk Intan. I went out early at around 9 o'clock because I thought, being a first-time voter, I thought there would be too many people. So I went there, and I was surprised to see that there were practically nobody there. Yes, there were practically nobody. So what happened is that, and I noticed a lot of friends, especially those on Instagram, were taking photos of their finger being inked blue. So like what you said just now, I do agree that even though people came with an informed decision, practically this all this what do you call that, knowing exactly what they wanted to vote, but as they were queuing, they might still scroll their Twitter and Instagram and noting all this so-called alleged Bangla voters, and that could change make them make last-minute decisions. Yes. I do agree with that, even though I do not know the percentage, but I know that some of my friends, especially those fence-sitters, when they see all this misinformation about, all these alleged Bangla voters, especially this one particular case in, I can't remember, this adopted guy, yes. Apparently that created a lot of commotion, yes.
Okay. Daryl, you want to, last for Daryl? Yes.
One,
just few
they
seconds
mentioned
saja.
Chinese tsunami, no. Most of the state assembly in Sabah were won by the Kadazans. So there's a Kadazan tsunami somehow. But then again, this Chinese tsunami, was mentioned by the Prime Minister. We all understand why. The party elections are coming. He has to look more Malay. For some reason, I noticed. That's why he mentioned Chinese tsunami.
Okay.
Fortunately, he also mentioned national reconciliation.
Yes. Okay. On that note, we'll take a break for a while.